And from what I've seen, smartwatches are not for everyone, and that's evident by the fact that not everyone is willing to spend $200 on an extension of your smartphone. I mean, you could put that into actually buying a decent smartphone. I get that, and I've owned smartwatches before while only using them for notifications and getting the time slightly faster. I've sold all the ones I've owned previously, quite frankly. So why have I stuck with the ZTE Quartz? Well, it's mostly convenience and a good price. So let's go ahead and talk about that. The exterior design consists of a very strong metal around the frame of the watch and plastic around the bottom. This watch is quite large when compared to other watches, but I'd say that it's still elegant. The front consists of the 1.4-inch 400x400 AMOLED display and a little neat design around the corners of the display to make it look like a more discreet watch. On the side of the Quartz, you'll find the multi-function button, and the bottom you'll find the contact pins for charging. Nothing else. No heart rate sensors or anything of the sort. This watch is relatively comfortable. I mean, a rounded bottom of it pushes against the roundness of my wrist, which makes it stick up more than it needs to, and applies more pressure than necessary to my wrist. A band itself is pretty comfortable and fits well, though you can replace it with other more stylish solutions. Overall, the watch's comfort is alright. The display of this watch is actually quite nice and looks pretty good on such a small screen. The colors are vibrant and the screen does get pretty bright, which is useful for the outdoors. You can even browse through your pictures and use the web, somewhat, without needing your phone for most cases. Pretty nifty. This device is on Wear OS 2.15.0 and performance is quite smooth. There's a lot you can do with this watch, such as answer phone calls, reply to texts, control music playing on your phone through the watch, check the weather, browse the web, and more. There are also some watch faces for it and more you can download, but the selection is rather limited for this watch. The software is rather bare bones, so it only has what it needs, with some minor gimmicks. I couldn't ask for much more of the software really. It's clean and smooth throughout the OS, though there is the occasional lag, and when it does lag, it lags very hard. Making and answering calls is actually pretty cool here. I got into a phone conversation with my sister the other day, so I could hear her loud and clearly, and the mic seemed to register my voice quite nicely. I can keep the watch away from me, and I will still be heard. However, the speaker isn't loud enough to overcome the noise of a running train, for example, so keep that in mind. This watch is quite a nice companion to my Pixel 2. I don't lose out on any features when connecting to Android, which is the best case scenario. I particularly love the music control and swiping mechanism for responding to text messages without needing to take out my phone. It does keep my experience of using my phone mostly hands-free, which is very nice. Also, it doesn't hurt that this watch is quite the looker with the right band. I like it. But I've got quite a few complaints about this watch, particularly with its thickness. I don't mind the overall size of the screen too much, but this watch is insanely bulky and somewhat uncomfortable because of it. Not to burst your bubble if you're very into this watch, but some of my colleagues have compared this watch to Ben 10's watch because of the size. It's not exactly what you want to hear as a 21-year-old. Battery life isn't very good for this device, and I tested the much smaller and sleeker Apple Watch 2 last year. That watch could easily last me 2 days paired to my iPhone SE. This watch will last about 8 hours and then die out completely. This watch is too bulky to not have a battery that is big enough to keep it powered for at least a full day. One last complaint would go towards the charging cradle. This is a gross way of charging this watch because the charger is so fragile and the contact pins are completely exposed. Not to mention that the watch won't charge unless it is perfectly aligned. It's annoying. So that was quite a list of complaints there, and I had some more annoyances, but I figured that since I'm just sort of a picky person, it's probably just an issue that only affects me. With that, I believe it's time to conclude this video. This watch is stylish and useful. It's a convenient asset to my Android experience, and I do appreciate the watch. The battery life is subpar, and the watch may not be super comfortable, and the charging cradle isn't my favorite, but this is a good product, and as long as you don't mind the size, then you probably won't hate too much about it. I do recommend it. For more content, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and to stay updated when a new video comes out, make sure to click on that bell and enable notifications. And for links to everything featured in this video, expect to find those in the description as well as the links for what to watch next. This has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you all later. Enjoy.